thing. The other thing I want to say about that, I talk about when the cruelty actually began. Those Rottweilers were like 8 years old. They were brother and sister. They've been together their whole lives. They split them up. Now, to me, that was cruel. I don't know about you guys.
Yes, it would. Yes, very much so.
Her name was JD. She got adopted out to a really great family, so he's still waiting, but he's terrific. He's just a fabulous dog. Everybody loves him.
Can we meet him?
Absolutely. He might try and squeeze out on you, though, so just tell him to back up.
Back up, DJ.
Back up, kiddo.
He has a very sweet face.
He is a sweet boy.
And he looks like he could be a good guard dog if people don't know how sweet he is.
Yeah, and a lot of that is just public perception. No. Every dog is a watchdog if you stop and think about it.
Sure.
Pam, is every dog a watchdog?
Well,
like the ones that come running up to me to get petted.
I'd get him for a watchdog. Yeah, he'd probably lick you to death. But ask her; she knows. I mean, she's been an expert on everything.
I've gone to some folks' house that have dogs, and the dogs will come out and they'll chew your head off. And I've been to some folks' house, and the dogs, and I've never met the dogs in my life, and the dogs come up to be petted. I don't think every dog's a watchdog.
No, I don't either.
Fair enough. All right, let's meet Brownie.
He is so sweet. He's kind of an escape artist. He got moved up here just this morning. Oh, now she's back up there. Hey, kiddo. Oh, what are you doing?
Looks like a scrappy little fella.
Yep, he is a good boy. Oh, you forget it. Oh, that's nice.
There's one thing I gotta say right here that with all those dogs barking, that's too many dogs in that place. I'm afraid that they're starting to hoard dogs there. We need to call the authorities.
Up against him for that.
Well, and that dog, he has an injury. There's something wrong with
his eye.
Yeah, something's happened there. Now, if that dog had that injury on my place, they would have me in jail over that. But look at that, and
she even wiped it off and looked at it.
Yeah, so then nobody's held accountable for that injury. Well, in their care.
Yeah, it's healing up really well, though. It looks just kind of droopy, that's all.
Oh, droopy.
Oh,
dear.
It looks like it's about swollen shut there.
Yeah, it looks like he lost his eye.
That must have been something that happened there, the way she went real fast and kind of thinned over
just
it.
kind of droopy.
Skimmed over it.
You know, just kind of droopy. No big deal. I bet the dog lost his eye down there.
Wow.
That's disgusting. That looks bad.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, does it?
No, it didn't.
Boy.
I think he's probably got some shepherd of some sort in him, but it's hard to say. All right. We're not going to keep him in any longer. He likes...
Okay, let's get him back before anyone else notices how bad his eye is.
Yeah. Now, would that dog get adopted out with that injured eye like that?
No, let's just put him to sleep.
Yeah. I doubt he was ever adopted.
And then Beaver.
Beaver's always been pretty outgoing, actually.
Beaver isn't hurting for calories.
No, she's kind of chubby, actually.
Yeah, she looks well filled out.
Yeah, she's a good girl.
That dog is skinny. No, it's too fat. She's
okay. How come she's so chubby? Yeah. Were you trying to make her fat so she'd have a heart attack and die?
It seems to swing that way, doesn't it? It's either that they're not being fed or no.
And then the one lady says that they've really come a long way in the last couple of weeks than what they were when they first got in here. And the reporter says, yeah, definitely. How did she know? She just got to ask them a question.
Yeah. Well, she just has to give that lady credit. Nobody's making a connection that those dogs came in good looking, healthy, happy, and nobody's making the connection that it was because of the care they were receiving where they were.
I think it'd take more than 2 weeks for a dog to recover from something like if they were starving or thirsting. It's going to take them more than 2 weeks to make them look like that.
And you wouldn't have 100% of them all deemed adoptable. Yeah. And the other thing is those dogs, like Bobby's old. I mean, she's 16 years old, so she's been in my care for years and years and years.
She's 16 years old.
We're advertising you. You're going to go to a good home.
Let's hope so. I'm hoping with the Maggie in town, maybe we'll get some ranch people that understand.
Good idea. Who could really use a type.
Yeah, you know, and with a little bit of work, I think these dogs would really make good, you know, working dogs. That's what they're bred for. That's what they live for.
We were both wrong. About 13,000 people blew through the Montana Expo Park for the Montana Agricultural Industrial Exhibit, and not a single dog was adopted.
What happened to those dogs if they're not adopted?
Good question. But they know they were better off with them, and they were going to find them the right homes, and it's amazing how the dogs either had to have a purpose or they just weren't valued as dogs. They either had to be guard dogs or working dogs. Yeah. Do you notice that? These dogs, they have a purpose, and it's obvious that nobody was there to adopt dogs. So good question. Where did they go? They just couldn't be dogs.
Mooney is the dog that Christian was talking about during our walk through the pony and llama barn. She actually gave birth on December 19th, the day that authorities arrived on the Polejewski property to seize the dogs. This new mother had a broken leg, so veterinarian Mickey Lejeune from Best Friends Animal Clinic immediately took her into surgery. Now she's on the mend and her puppies are thriving.
So she's okay. You operated on her leg.
Right, and we x-rayed it Monday, and it looks like it's almost completely healed.
Oh, good.
So.
And was she in pain or?
Oh, she had a temperature of 105, so she had bite wounds on her face from the other girls that were in with her, and she had brand new puppy. She was sitting on a little piece of carpet that was soaking wet and had been below zero the night before. And
man, what was the dog so stinking and wet and messy?
Well, anybody who's delivered puppies, there's water there. Thank you. And she probably just hadn't cleaned herself up. And on a piece of rug and all of that.
It was all wet.
That was all wet.
And frozen.
And below zero in that place.
And below zero.
No, she was actually, and what did she say? Something about she was in a pen with a bunch of other dogs. She had bite marks on her head, and she was all alone. And how come this story doesn't jive with what that other lady in the barn was saying? Wasn't she saying, she didn't say anything about we took her out of a pen with a bunch of other dogs and what have you. So
now, was this lady there? Did she come and take this dog?
No.
So she wasn't even there?
No. And the one that did remove her, that's what I'm saying. She had a whole different version. She said, we don't know what happened. We don't know when the injury transpired.
How does she know the rug was wet then and frozen and
the dog was stinky and all wet.
And this is the dog the doctor said just let her have her puppies and then take care of her leg.
Yeah, when I called that, I saw she was favoring that.
So you would have done the same thing. You would have taken her in after the puppies were born and then had her leg fixed up.
Exactly, but I wouldn't take her to a vet that had a whole news camera come into my surgical ward and
that's susceptible to
infection. Sure. She, with all her drama, she invited in a whole camera crew into her operating room while she was taking care of this dog. I mean, how would you feel if you're the surgeon operating on your dad did something like that? Invited in a crew to have all this drama and it's all about me. And she has no idea about the dog because, no, she was never on the property.
And how was she behavioral-wise?
Wonderful. When we touched her leg and could feel that it was, come here, Moon, come here, Moony, Moony, and could feel that it was broken, she sat there and wagged her tail, and you could feel the leg crunching. And she's sitting there wagging her tail.
Any idea how she broke it?
I suspect it had something to do with the other girls fighting with her.
Oh,
and
she was pregnant?
Yeah, pregnant and giving birth, and in the process of giving birth, I suspect.
Gosh.
So it's just not a good idea to have 3 girls with puppies all housed loose together. It's very dangerous for the mom.
So,
give me
So this information that she's telling is not even probably really accurate.
Well, she, by her own admission, says, I don't know. But then she goes off on this horrendous story. And the dog pile keeps getting bigger.